If you clicked on this video, that means you're serious about making more money in 2022, and today I'm here in my basement to tell you the best ways to do it. What's up guys, it's Ryan, and I've searched every corner of the internet to bring you a list of the top 5 side hustles that you can start in 2022 at any age with no experience. Without any further ado, coming in at the number 5 spot is photography. This is a side hustle I only recently found out about, but it turns out that if you have a quality camera and a good eye for taking photos, you can make a lot of money. With photography, there's 4 different routes that people can go down, and they are freelance photography, real estate, product photography, and stock media photography. Freelance photography is when you get hired to photograph events like weddings, and real estate and product photographers take photos of products and properties for commercial purposes. And lastly, stock media photographers take photos to sell as intellectual property. As the world becomes more and more digital, the demand for good photos has become higher than ever. And there's many ways to learn the side hustle of photography, but the one that I'd recommend the most is the YouTube channel Peter McKinnon. He worked in product photography and that was his full-time career, and now he makes YouTube videos teaching people how to do it. Other than that, there's lots of other resources online too. So here are the benefits to doing photography as a side hustle. You can basically set your own schedule. There's lots of different ways to do it, such as the 4 that I mentioned, and there's lots of money to be made since the demand for photographers is very high. Some barriers you might face are the high startup costs because getting a good camera and lighting setup can be quite expensive. Another is the sharp learning curve because it takes a while to learn how to take good photos and get your angles right. So if this is something you want to get started in, I recommend you do the following. First, you should choose a photography niche from the 4 that I mentioned, or maybe there's some other one that you found yourself. Once you have that, learn everything about that niche and how to take the right photographs. After that, it's all about practice. Take more and more photos to get better at the skill. After that, it's time to get customers. Put yourself on websites like Facebook, Instagram, Fiverr, anywhere you can get a photography gig. The next side hustle I want to talk about today is starting a local business. A local business can be anything where you're selling a product or service locally to people in your city. If you want some ideas, you could sell snacks, you could start a power washing business, you could start a lawn mowing business, you could sell microgreens, which is something I only heard recently, you could become a tutor, there's so many options. And if you know me, you know that I started my own lawn mowing business, and I have a whole video about how that went. And the key to having your own local business is to be adaptive. Obviously it's the winter now, so I can't go around mowing lawns, so if I still wanted to have my own local business, maybe I'd start shoveling snow. Running your own local business is a great learning experience, and here are some of the benefits to it. The first is a really important one, and it's that you feel like you're actually providing value. Some people criticize certain online business methods because they say they're not really providing any value to society. But there's no doubt that if you're running a local business that sells things to people who can actually use them or provides them a service they need, then you're really providing value to society. And another is that after you get the ball rolling, it can be a really steady source of income. If you have a good enough number of people consistently supporting your business, you can get by without having any new customers because the people already supporting your business will provide you with a steady source of income. Another great thing is that once you get momentum, you can start working a lot faster and more efficiently. When I mowed my first ever lawn, I went really slowly and tried to pay attention to every single detail to not mess up. But 3 months later, I was cruising through lawns and making them look even better than before. Another great thing with small businesses is that it gives you the opportunity to hire and automate your income. If you're doing everything yourself in your business, you have the opportunity to hire people to work for you and expand your business while you're not even working. The biggest barrier you're probably going to face to having a local business is the scale. Unless you're shipping products worldwide, you can't really expand beyond your own city. So you're limited to a certain amount of customers or clients, and it's hard to expand past that. So if you want to get started with your own local business, here are the steps you should follow. Obviously, the first thing you should do is decide what you're going to sell, and here I would recommend you play to your strengths. If you're a good cook, start selling your own food. If you're smart, become a tutor. If you like working outdoors, do something like I did and start a lawn mowing or gardening business. Whatever it is, make sure it's something you enjoy and you're good at. The next step is to promote yourself everywhere. The best website that I've used myself is Nextdoor. It's kind of like social media but for your own city, and there's lots of opportunities to advertise your skills there. Some other places you can check out are Facebook and Craigslist, and if you want to go the old-fashioned way, you can even hang up signs around town. After that, it's just a matter of how much you can expand. The third side hustle I have for you today is another one I'm a big fan of, and I think everyone should be doing it to some extent. And that is flipping. Flipping is when you find literally any object and you're able to sell it for more than you got it for. And one thing you might realize is that if you're able to get something for free and you can sell it for anything at all, that's over a 100% markup. So that's what I've done a lot of myself. There's lots of ways to find free stuff, such as on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, even just going around town looking for things that people are giving away. It's a great place to start because you don't have to put in any financial commitment and there's basically no risk. The problem you'll run into though is that the things that people give away for free are not always of the highest quality. So the next level of flipping is buying things that you believe are underpriced and selling them for more. And since you're now putting in money of your own, what I suggest you do is you find a specific category of items that you're going to flip. And the category that I do myself is electronics. I like to flip electronics because they have some of the highest profit margins you can find and don't take up that much space in your house. Some other profitable categories of items you can flip are clothing, sporting goods, and furniture. I'd recommend though that you stay away from items that give you low profit. And I'm talking about things like small toys, books, mugs, and just things that are cheap. Because you're gonna put in the work to flip something anyways, so why not do something where you're gonna get a high profit margin? So here are some of the benefits to flipping. The first is that it's really accessible and literally anyone can do it. There's nothing holding you back from even finding things in your own house that you don't use anymore and selling them for a profit. The next is that after a little practice, you can start flipping items really fast. It's good bang for your buck since it takes little time and very little effort. What's not so great about flipping is the same reason that you don't see people being full-time flippers, and that is scale. There's only so many underpriced items to go around, and you really can't make a full-time living off of this. Flipping is a great side hustle, and it's a good way to make some extra income, but it's not going to be your full-time income source. So if you want to get into this, which I highly recommend, here's how you start. Go to Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, go around town to find free stuff, or even stuff in your own home, and just take pictures of it and list them to sell. You can do this on websites like Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, eBay, and Amazon. Once you have a little experience, that's when you should find a category of items you're going to flip. Like I said, I recommend something like electronics, clothing, sporting goods, or furniture. And from there, see how much you can expand and get as good as you can at the skill of flipping. The next side hustle is a really big opportunity online that I'm not seeing very many people talk about, and that is digital design. Digital design can range from things like video editing to digital art, photo editing, and video production. But this also includes more general work like being a virtual assistant or a social media manager. As young people, we have an understanding of social media in ways that people in older generations don't. So that's why if you're able to make things that can help brand social media pages look better or run smoother, then they're willing to offer you the big bucks. So the biggest benefit to doing online work like this is that there's huge demand for it and they'll pay you very well. Depending on what kind of online work it is, there's positions that are offering salaries similar to those of doctors and lawyers. However, something you might have to watch out for is the high barrier to entry. With all the money that they're giving you, you have to be very qualified to hold a position like digital designer or virtual assistant. And another thing is the time that it takes. Positions like these will have you working hours that are looking more like full-time jobs rather than side hustles. So it's something to think about if you're an artistic person or very tech savvy. And I haven't really done any of this online work myself, but in my research I found that a lot of people are saying it really comes down to connections. And we're lucky to live in an age where it's so easy to reach out to anyone in the world. Positions like these are being offered everywhere on the internet on places like Fiverr, Facebook, and Instagram. And if you don't like any of the positions that they have, you even have the option of DMing people or brands personally. So at the end of the day, it comes down to a game of connections, and it's easier now more than ever to make them. The final side hustle I want to tell you about today, and what I believe to be the biggest opportunity for all entrepreneurs in 2022, is content creation. No matter what business you're in or not in yet, content creation is the way to scale that by 100x. And now more than ever, there's so many ways you can create content and put it online. Of course, video is the main form of media we see today, but there's other ways to create content like written in the form of a blog or audio in the form of a podcast. And if you don't have your own brand like most of us people don't, then the best way to create content is just to talk about what you like. It's crazy that we're seeing people make full-time incomes online creating content to teach people or even just playing video games. There's so many platforms and methods to create content and there really are no rules, but that's not even the thing I love most about it. What I believe to be the greatest upside of content creation is the scale. Scale was a weakness for some of the other side hustles, but for content creation, scale is its biggest strength. There's literally billions of people who use the internet, and sometimes all it takes is one viral piece of content to transform your content creation side hustle into a full-time business. 5 years ago, no one knew Mr. Beast or Charli D'Amelio, but they were able to scale their content creation to places unheard of. And as you grow online, the content that you create is able to bring you multiple sources of income. Of course, with YouTube, one of the main ways creators earn their living is with ad revenue, but there's also things like sponsorships and affiliate marketing. And one thing that brands are known for is using their big platforms to advertise a new product that they have. There's so many upsides to content creation that the only real negative I can think of is that if you're not one of those lucky people who blows up overnight, it can take a significant amount of time to see any real results. But I guess the way to solve that is just to keep going and keep doing what you love, and eventually you'll see the results that you need. It's so easy to create content now that the only thing stopping you is yourself. So if this is the side hustle you want to pursue, then all you have to do is publish your very first piece of content, and the second, third, and fourth will come so much easier. And who knows, after a while, maybe you'll be the next person creating Squid Game in real life. That is all I have for you today. If you do try any of these side hustles yourself, let me know how they go in the comments. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're not already. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in a future video. Peace.